Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back. Today we are talking about favorites and fails. I feel like I was trying to do these videos once a month, but I didn't have enough to talk about every month because I've been trying out so many new products on TikTok, and then I'm doing speed reviews about that, and I'm doing Shop My Stash, and I just didn't have enough like different products to talk about. So I'm switching this. I believe I ended up switching it to quarterly. I have it written down. My brain, not so much. But I'm pretty sure that we're doing these quarterly now. So seasonal favorites and fails. So these are my favorites and fails from the last season. And for fails, that means that I loathed it. There's some stuff that I'll talk about, like there's a product that didn't work out for me in my current Shop My Stash round. Shop My Stash is the next video going up and I'll talk about it then. But it wasn't like a super fail. These are like, and I have a lot. I want to say this is about 50-50. I have like half fails, half favorites. What order do I do this in now? Do I do favorites first and then fails, or do I mix them up, switch it up a little bit? I don't know. I think I'm gonna do favorites first, and then I'm gonna do fails. So I'll have everything linked down below, and then I'll have timestamps too, like if you're just interested in seeing my fails. Now do keep in mind, these are just my opinions on products that either works for me or did not work for me. If one of my fails is a product that you really enjoy, that's awesome. It's makeup. We're allowed to have different opinions, and that's okay. Not everything that works for you is going to work for me, and vice versa. These are just my opinions on things that were not good for me. Okay, so I guess let's jump in. I kept notes this time. I'm so proud of myself. I was so organized. I have notes on why I didn't like products, because I wrote them in like the heat of the moment. So you know they're good. What are we starting with? Oh, favorites. Okay, yes. My first favorite are the Glamnetic press-on nails. You guys, I have so many of these. They did gift me a couple when they gifted me some of their magnetic lashes. I'm having the worst time with lashes right now. I don't know what my issue is, but these nails, I've seen the ads on TikTok where it's like, we're the strongest fake nails ever, and it's someone like slamming the nails in a drawer, and it's true. I love these. And here's the thing, I kind of have like price limits on what I'm okay to spend on various things in my head, right? It's not like a hard, fast rule, but it tends to be what I stick to. And these nails are a bit more pricey than what I would normally be okay with spending, and I have purchased so many sets on my own. Now, sometimes Boxy does have them for like $7 or $8, which is around the Kiss pricing. If you buy them at like Ulta or on Glamnetic, they're like 15 to 20 a box, but I promise you, these are worth it. These are the best press-on nails I've ever used. They lasted for so long that like the color had started to chip off the top, and I literally had to change them because I had so much growth. Now, if you are someone who has acrylics or dip powder nails, I used to do dip powder all the time, then you'll know that like that's pretty common. It takes a couple of weeks to get there. It takes like 2 to 3 weeks to get there. Not with press-ons though. Press-ons, I change all the time. You guys have seen this. I change my press-ons all the time. These last so long. I am in love with these. Oh my god. So now I have a whole like little mini collection. I do wish that they had more designs, because I feel like the designs that they have, they just need to come out with more. Like Kiss is constantly popping out more. You can go to Amazon and Etsy and get press-on nails in dozens and dozens and dozens of different designs. You can get custom nails done. The only gripe that I have with Glamnetic is I wish that they would have more designs. They do have cute ones. I just want more of a selection. But these last so much longer than any other press-on nail that I've tried. And I feel like at this point in my life, I have tried a lot of press-on nails. I will say they are more expensive than Kiss. I don't feel like they're that crazy more expensive, because I feel like with Kiss, you're paying between like $7 and $10 depending on the set that you get. So these are 15 to 20. I guess that is about double. They're worth it though, if you're gonna take one thing away from this video. And on that same note, you can buy the Glamnetic brush-on nail glue. Now, my mom actually just got into doing press-on nails, and this is what she uses. And her getting her nails off is the funniest thing to me, because she has the hardest time doing it. This is glue. This is cement. This is amazing. And you can get this for like $7 at Ulta. And I love the brush on, because I feel like it's just so much more controlled and precise than with the ones that you just squeeze that tend to like come with nails. This is just so much better. So if you're in the market for a nail glue, go with Glamnetic. Even if you're not using the Glamnetic nails, this will still make your whatever brand you're using last much longer than they would with the regular glue that comes in the set. A little pro tip for you. I'm going to talk about this next because we're already talking about press-on nails, so this makes sense. This is from Static Nails. I have tried a set of Static Nails press-on nails. Wasn't the big fan. I have other ones to try out, but my first set did not go the greatest. But this is the 100% non-toxic hydrating nail polish remover. The nice thing about this though is you can use this to remove press-ons, and I'm telling you, it's like a little dropper. And I have used this for so many sets, you don't need much. It's like a little dropper, and you literally just kind of put it at the base of the press-ons, and then you let it soak in, right? So you hold your hand like this for a little bit. They slide off. I do tend to use like an extra nail to kind of pry off like the little middle piece, but they are removed so much easier and there's so much less damage done to your nails. So this is what I've been using to take off my press-on nails, and my issue with acrylics and dip powder's not so bad, but my issue with acrylics was always the fact that my nail beds were destroyed. And this is almost like healing them. It's insane. It takes off my nails, and my nails do feel like they don't feel dry or stripped or anything like that as you would get with like traditional acetone if you're using that to remove press-on nails. The really nice thing about it is it does remove the glue too. And I feel like a lot of things like acetone and any other like nail polish removers that you could use to also remove press-on nails kind of leaves that layer of glue behind. This does not do that. It takes everything off. You kind of just buff your nails afterwards and they're like good as new, like nothing was ever on them. It's amazing. I love this so much. I bought this at Ulta and it's been out of stock for a while, and I had turned my mom onto this too, so now she's using it, and she was trying to find a bottle, and she had said that it looked like it was being discontinued online, and both of us went to the Static Nails website and we each bought 5 bottles. This is my 6th actually, so I own 6 bottles of this. It's so good. If you, I mean really, it's a polish remover too, so you don't even need to use it for like press-on nails. If you do your own nails, it's amazing. All right, let's talk about some other stuff. The Billie Eilish perfume. This is Eilish by Billie Eilish. It's sold at Ulta actually, if you can believe that. This, okay, so this was released and I saw the bottle and I wasn't planning to get it because I haven't been like blind buying perfumes. I have a lot of perfumes. I'm trying to work through some of my older ones, and I haven't been buying perfumes lately. And I saw this bottle and I was like, oh, that is stunning. Like that is a gorgeous bottle. And then I saw that the perfume was cruelty-free. And if you guys follow like cruelty-free perfumes, having kind of mainstream, especially celebrity brand cruelty-free perfumes is very rare. So I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. And then Ulta had some kind of deal. I ended up picking it up and I actually love this scent. It's like a musky, warm vanilla. It's very reminiscent of the fragrance that like everyone's mom was wearing back in the 90s, but like a little bit of a darker version than that. And so I love like the warm vanilla and sugar scent that was really popular, but it just, no offense mom, reminds me of my mom. And I don't want to smell exactly like her, you know what I mean? This is perfect. This is like the more sultry, darker version of that scent in this gorgeous, gorgeous packaging. And I'm obsessed with it. Like this is, I'm so glad that I took the chance and bought it. And this is a 3.4 fluid ounce size. It's good. If you have not smelled this, get yourself to Ulta. Give it a sniff. It's really good. I was so surprised and impressed because especially for Billie Eilish, this is just not the type of scent that I was expecting from her, but it's fabulous. Like she did such a good job. So that's awesome. I also have been loving this lately. This was a complete fluke. I ended up using up my nighttime lip balm and I needed to get a new one, so I just grabbed one from my stash. This is the Sweet Chef Sugarcane and Vitamin E Lip Sleeping Mask. Now Sweet Chef does serum shots, which I have a love-hate relationship with. I love the product, hate the packaging and like the dropper and everything like that, but love-hate relationship. This is one of the best sleep lip masks I think I have ever tried. It is genuinely, and I've used up so much in such a short time. It is amazing. It smells like nothing. Like it smells like vitamin E. It's great. I love the fact that it doesn't have a scent, but this is so moisturizing without being greasy, without being heavy. It almost feels like a lip balm, right? It has like that Vaseline feel, but not the fake feeling like that overly thick, slick feeling that Vaseline has. And it just absorbs into your lips. And I have been having like perpetual dry lip problems, especially in the winter. My lips get so dry. This is a miracle worker. Every morning I wake up, my lips are so soft and they almost look fuller because they're so hydrated. This, yes, like I'm definitely going to repurchase this at some point. I do have like so many other sleep masks that I plan to try out, but this is, I genuinely think, probably my favorite lip mask that I have ever used, which is a big feat because I have used so many, but this is like top of the list. It's fabulous. This foundation, I had a different favorite picked out that I wanted to talk about, and then I started using this foundation as part of a project pan, the Panning Punk project pan, and I completely forgot how much I love this foundation. I also just in my trying out viral, like hyped up TikTok makeup, tried out the KVD Vegan Beauty Good Apple foundation, and that might be a favorite next time because I still have to try it out some more because I've only used it once because I've been focusing on this. But you guys, I forgot how much I loved this foundation. It is so, it's so good. This is the UOMA Say What Weightless Soft Matte Hydrating Foundation. Mine is in the shade Fair Lady. I'm using this as part of my Panning Punk project because it's the royalty one. And my goal is to just use it exclusively with the sole exception of videos until the next Panning Punk update, which I think is like the 6th of April. So it's coming up. Because I don't know how long I've had this for. This is an adjustable coverage foundation, so you can get medium coverage, you can get full coverage, and it says on here for extreme coverage to apply multiple layers. I actually like this as like a medium to full coverage foundation because it looks skin-like. This is actually what I'm wearing today, obviously, Project Pan, thank you. But it's what I've been wearing in my last few videos, and I love this. I apply this with a brush, it goes on so easily, and then I kind of like just buff it out with a sponge kind of pressed in. It looks so skin-like and it looks so natural. The shade match, perfect. And they have a really wide shade range. It's a wonderful shade range. But this is just one of the most perfect foundations. I feel like for an everyday foundation that you can adjust the coverage on, it's great. And it feels so lightweight on the skin. Like genuinely, it feels like you're wearing nothing, and I think that that's one of the reasons why I like it. They have a concealer, and I'm actually using the concealer now in my Shop My Stash. And the concealer is like a little bit thicker. It's still nice. I much prefer the foundation over the concealer though. Like I don't feel like the two really mesh the greatest, but this is one of my favorite foundations. It's a hydrating foundation. It's so good. I feel like this does not get talked about enough. I feel like this whole brand does it, and I've tried a lot from this brand and I like a lot from this brand, but this foundation specifically, I have fallen, like I'm obsessed with this now. And I've used it before obviously because this was not like brand new, and you can see, look at how messy, because when I'm into something, I go hard. And this wasn't brand new, and I don't know how I ever like forgot about it. It's so good. Also, I have to mention this. This is in my Shop My Stash currently. This is the Patrick Ta Major Headlines Blush Palette. I bought this when it was released because I had seen it in a Purchase or Pass video that I did, and I was like, yes. And I literally, in that video, went and bought the palette. And then I got it. This is my first time using it, but I've been using it for a few weeks now. When I first pulled it out, and like I pulled it out from my Shop My Stash, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna use this. I'm so excited. And then I looked at these shades and I was like, oh, what have I done? Maybe I shouldn't have bought this. Maybe that was like a total impulse and I should have done it. You guys, these are so bright. So you've got 3 creams, and then you have 3 of the powder blushes that correspond with the creams, which I love because you guys know me. I do cream and then I do powder on top to make it last longer. It's perfect. These shades look so vibrant, and again, I'm wearing this today. I'm wearing actually the bright pink shade today, but they blend into the most beautiful blushes. And it's almost, what I've noticed is that you can kind of blend them to be the intensity that you want them to be. So for the look that I did today, I wanted this color, but I did not want it to be like super heavy intense. So I blended it out to just this really beautiful kind of flushed from within look. I'm obsessed. I love this so much. This palette, unfortunately, I don't think you can get it anymore because I think it was limited edition, but you can get the single blushes, and then I know that they've got more shades than just 3, and when I say single, like you get the cream and you get the powder in the same compact, but you can get them like individually. Like, shade by shade. And I know that I think that they've got more than 3 shades, and I'm telling you, I'm about to go and buy the other shades. Because even this shade, this really like dark one, it looks so dark for like my skin tone, but it's my favorite one because it blends into the most beautiful shade. I don't know what magic is in this palette. The only thing I don't like is the packaging. It's reflective, which means fingerprints everywhere, and there's a huge glare, so I apologize for that. I don't know what magic is in this, but these are some of the best blushes I think I've ever used. And even the powder blushes on top, I literally, I take a brush and I apply a stripe, and then I take my powder brush and just blend, 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 and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I need more of these, like immediately. Immediately. I also want to give a little mention to wet brushes. I just restocked on mine because mine were like really old and nasty, but I am one of those people who I take showers at night and I let my hair air dry, thus making it really frizzy. And I recently switched back over to using wet brushes. I had one from like years ago, and that's the one that I replaced because I kind of switched back and forth between wet brushes and paddle brushes, and I had forgotten how much, even if your hair is not wet, because I don't like to brush my hair when it's wet, and I know like that's what this is meant for, but even using this on dry hair, you guys, I love these brushes, and they come in such cute like colors and designs now. This is literally all I buy for my kids. The only hair brushes they have are wet brushes, and they are life-changing. They make your hair look so nice, and they're so much better for your hair than regular brushes. So I ended up buying a 2-pack off of Amazon. I bought a purple one and a black one, and I'm using the black one now. So I've got this as kind of like a backup, but they're awesome. And I've tried other wet brushes, and I will say the Wet Brush brand is my favorite, but the other ones aren't like bad. Those are just, I think, the #1 top tier ones. Okay, so those are the products that I have been absolutely loving for the last couple of months. Again, you've seen other ones that I've really been loving in Shop My Stashes and in my speed review videos, which is, I mean, it's brand new. There's only one thus far, but there will be a second one soon. There are other products that I like, but these are the ones that I have not really mentioned a lot before that I have been dying over, okay? Now let's talk about some fails. And again, these may have been like briefly mentioned here or there, but this is gonna be where we get down to the nitty gritty. Why do I absolutely despise these products? And when I say despise, I mean these are products that I will not continue to use. And you guys know me, I don't really believe in hate panning, but unless there's something like severely wrong with the product, I will try to finish it up. And these, I can't. I refuse to. I won't do it. I won't do it. So let's start with a couple of foundations because I actually have 2 that were so bad. The first one was from my collection. The second one was one that I had purchased recently. So the first one is the Pure Flesh foundation. This is in the shade 05 Creme Fraiche. This, I feel like I have used it before and I didn't notice any issues with it, but I used it again recently and this was terrible. Do you guys remember my e.l.f. the CC cream, the camo CC cream that I hated? And I know it's a beloved product, please don't come for me. It did not work on my skin. It just broke up. Like it broke up, it stuck to dry patches, it clung terribly, it looked so bad on me. This was like the same thing. This broke up on my skin. A very light coverage, which I was not expecting. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, but I feel like a lot of their other products are pretty like heavy. So the fact that this was such a light coverage, but like even blending it in, it just looks patchy. Like even on my hand, it just looks streaky and patchy. And that's not how most foundations look. I have had this for a while, so that could play into it, but I don't know. This did not last all day, and this was my biggest issue with it, because I can kind of work with the other stuff, depending on how bad it is. It wasn't, like, none of that was bad. The clinging to dry patches, breaking up on my skin, very light coverage, I can kind of work with that stuff. My biggest issue with this is it would fade really weird, and it didn't last all day. So, like, halfway through the day, it would start fading. But it would only start fading in like really noticeable places. Because again, if you guys see my videos, my foundation normally fades around my chin, normally around my nose, normally up here, where I've got dry patches. And I'm fine with that because that's what makeup does. I'm cool. This would fade from like very obvious spots, like the apples of my cheeks. Okay, it would fade from like my forehead. It would like, it almost gave the appearance of it was like melting off. And normally in the summertime, I might be able to excuse that. But this is in the middle of winter for Arizona. And my skin does get drier in the winter, but I counteract that with a lot of hydrating skin products, so I normally don't have an issue with that. And this just did not, it was not a good time for me. So this one, I think at this point, this is like pretty old. So I think I am going to just go ahead and toss this out, but this was just not good. I want to point out for this next one, these were my notes. They're very angry. And I was writing very large with like underlines underneath it because I was very upset at this. This is the Smashbox Studio Skin Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. Mine is in the shade 0.3, which is fair neutral, okay? This is $38. Purchased it from Ulta. It has about 4 stars on Ulta, okay? Now this is, and I pulled this up because I'm going to tell you how it's described. It is described as a 24-hour full coverage foundation liquid that weightlessly and comfortably glides over skin. Formulated with hyaluronic acid, vitamin E, it has a matte finish with a soft blurring effect. Okay, weightless, comfortable feel that's non-settling and non-creasing, oil and shine control, waterproof, sweat and humidity resistant. And we know what Ulta has said. I will say I did take a look. I hated this so much. I took a look through the reviews, and so many of the reviews, like pretty much all of the 1-star reviews had the same issue that I did. Now it's got about 4 stars. There are people out there who like this foundation, and that is great. But all of those 1-star reviews let me know that I am not alone. So now I'm going to read to you my notes. Ulta online reviewers agree. Very dry, very matte, very heavy, almost impossible to blend, sticks to dry patches, might be one of worst foundations I've ever used, makes e.l.f. CC Camo Cream look good. Here's my issue with this, okay? First of all, it is so heavy. It's not lightweight and it's not comfortable. It's so heavy. This is also not my shade, which normally, like, and this is a pretty bad shade match, so normally I would have gone back to find a different shade, but this is so heavy. It's so thick and like gloopy, and this is a brand new one. I've purchased this in 2022. Want to throw that out there. It's so thick, it's so heavy. I did the tiniest little dab, okay, and it like, what? But also, it's very matte, like almost to a bad point. And I have a video of me trying this on TikTok, and I took screenshots of that video and I sent it to my friend, and I was like, I was genuinely putting this on going, this isn't, it's not that bad, right? And the screenshots are bad. The video, like you can, this shade is totally wrong for me, so it literally looked like a mask, but it looked so bad applied. It's so dry. And that's what really confused me, because I don't understand how it was so dry. But this literally is impossible to blend. I would put it on in one spot and I couldn't blend it out past that spot. So then that spot had just a huge streak of product that refused to budge, and it looked terrible. And it clung to dry patches like it had a vendetta against them and wanted to talk it out, okay? It was so bad. So bad. This is genuinely, I think, one of the worst foundations I've ever used. And it does, if I had to pick between this or the e.l.f. CC Camo Cream, I would go with the e.l.f. CC Camo Cream, because yes, that looked terrible on me, but this looks worse. And you guys saw, didn't I do a video with the e.l.f. CC Cream? I'm almost positive I did. I'm pretty sure you guys saw how bad that one looked on me, and this was so much worse. So this, I am going to pass this along to someone else. I almost feel bad about it though. Okay, hopefully though, someone else has better luck with that than I did. All right, let's talk about some other stuff now. Now this is an interesting one. So I had talked about this previously before. This is a brush cleansing mat from the Target dollar spot. I had purchased this, it was like $3, and I was like, oh great, this is like a good size too. Now normally I get these little mini ones from like TJ Maxx or Marshalls or whatever, and they're like between $4 and $7, but they're small, you know? So I was like, this is a good, like, look at that size difference, right? What a good steal. Picked it up, and I think I did show this in a Target haul. Then I used it. No, if you see these, run the other way, run all the way over to TJ Maxx to buy these, because these are so much better. And I have a couple of these now, and this is what I'm using. This is, the texture is very, like, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but like if you kind of look at this and then you look at this one, like I can see the texture on this one raised up, and this is not raised up enough. So the issue is that the textures are not raised up enough to clean the brushes thoroughly. So it's just like rubbing your brush on like a very light texture mat, just didn't do much, and it didn't remove enough of like the product in the brushes to clean them thoroughly. So it literally just didn't do its job, which really does suck because I loved the size of this, and I can't find anything bigger than like this at TJ Maxx. But these have raised up texture that you can get the brush heads on, and it actually does clean stuff out, and this does not. So this one is gonna go, I mean, I'm still disappointed by this one because I feel like it would have been such a good like price and value if it had actually worked, and it just doesn't. One of these days I'm gonna learn. You remember and it's so funny because I feel like all of these issues are issues I've had with products in the past, and it's just like a reoccurring thing now. Do you guys remember the Kylie Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes? That was from years ago. Years ago. So if you don't, it's okay. But I hated the Kylie Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes. And I hate this one for the same reason. This is from Haus Laboratories. This is the Stupid Love palette. I bought this because it was beautiful. Like right up my alley. Gorgeous. Okay. Haus Labs, I've tried a few different things from. They do have good products. Their liners are good. The lip products are good. I think that's about all I've tried, but I do like those. So I figured when this palette was released, I was like, oh yes, let's take a chance. Let's try out this palette. Guys. I still think it's so pretty. The shades would blend into themselves, right? So like I'd put a shade on and I'd blend and it would blend away. Just whoosh. Now the eyeshadow is gone. And that was the weirdest thing about the Kylie Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes too. And I know that they've reformulated now. I have not tried the reformulation. I'm specifically talking about the old formula. But the shades would literally just, like, where are they going? Where could you possibly have gone? And that's what this palette was doing. And that's like an automatic, you can't see the shade anymore. And these shades are so beautiful and so vibrant. And it sucks much more because they do swatch kind of nicely, but they're very dry and powdery. Like, it's so dry. And I don't like that either. This is just very difficult to work with. And the fallout, insane. I don't mind fallout because I do my eyes first, but this was such an insane amount of fallout. It looked like I was doing the same look on the top and the bottom, like the same thing, because it was so like, and I've only used this a couple of times before I was like, nope, I'm done. And I have dips. I only used it a couple of times. How are there dips already? That's insane. Oh my god. The other thing, and this is again, like, I already didn't like it, but I was still trying it out. And then throughout the day, like, you know how when you wear cream eyeshadows and they're not the greatest quality? Like, I'm wearing cream eyeshadow sticks right now from ColourPop, and I actually I like these, right? And they seem to be doing a pretty good job. I've been wearing kind of off and on for the last few days, mixing them up with the quads that I'm using for Shop My Stash. And the ColourPop ones seem to be pretty okay. But you know how if you use, like, not the greatest quality shadow sticks, they kind of smear and fade? The powder shadow in this palette did that. Throughout the day, the shadows faded. So by nighttime, they were smeared and patchy, and it looked like I had been crying. And the craziest part about it is the day that I really noticed this happening, I had used a lot of these blues, so like this shade and this shade, and it looked like I had been crying, and I hadn't even been sweating, right? Like, I did like a low-key chill day that day. And so the reaction that these shadows had made no sense. It made absolutely zero sense. And so I dislike this palette so much that I won't be purchasing eyeshadow palettes in the future from Haus Labs. Maybe if they reformulate, but as of right now, I am just off these palettes. There's so many good palettes and good brands out there, and this one, it's gonna get passed along, and hopefully someone else will be able to use it and get some kind of enjoyment out of it. From my Black Friday haul, I had purchased some stuff from Spectrum. This is the Spectrum Liquid Magic Vegan Brush Shampoo. I will say I haven't asked for updates on the brushes. The brushes are good. There are brush brands out there that I think are better. I think if you can get Spectrum on a sale, it's, you know, I mean, it's a good brush brand, but they're not like the be-all end-all. There are brush brands that I like a little bit better, like the Luxie brushes. I love those. But the Spectrum brushes are good. Like, they work perfectly fine. They're good. I just think that the prices are a little too high. Wait for a sale if you're gonna get them. Skip this though. So this is the Liquid Magic Vegan Brush Shampoo. It's a unicorn horn, in case you didn't know. My husband and his friends, they didn't know. Okay. So here's the issue. There's a few issues with this. Number one, the packaging is cute, but it's not efficient, and it makes it really difficult to squeeze product out because it doesn't, what the fuck am I gonna do now? Of course that came out easily when you're using a lot of it, because this doesn't bend well. And so you're literally like, it's just a struggle, okay? And this did not clean my brushes. The surface stains and product were fine, but I tend to use like the solid cleanser for eyeshadow brushes. And then for brushes that I've used with cream products or foundations or things like that, I always use a liquid cleanser because you're gonna get that shit down in there, and it is gnarly. This didn't clean. It was the weirdest thing because I used literally almost this entire bottle in one brush washing round, and I am lazy. I do have a lot of brushes to wash in every round, and almost an entire bottle. That was insane. It was insane. But it doesn't get into the bristles, so it doesn't clean out the cream product. And I had written down goopy product that just slides like slime, and that is exactly what it was. It is like a slime texture, and it just, I don't even know how to describe it. It was the weirdest shampoo that I've ever seen. And even with non-cream brushes, because once I realized that I couldn't use it to get the brushes that I had been using for cream or liquid products clean, I was like, all right, I'll just use it for powder brushes, eyeshadow brushes, things like that. And that's where the goopiness came in, and it just didn't it just kind of like ran down the brush bristles, but it didn't suds up, it didn't really catch on to anything, it just didn't do much of anything. So this, if you're looking for a liquid brush cleanser, just stick with the Dr. Bronner's, the big bottles of soap. Those are so much better. The Castile soap, so much better than this. I really feel like this is just super gimmicky and it just doesn't do very much. So this one, I would pass it along to someone, but it's literally almost empty, so that one's just gonna go to the trash. Okay, next up, this one makes me so sad because these are so expensive. This is the IGK Bad and Bougie. This is the Amla Oil Deep Repair Conditioner. I also had the shampoo. I can't remember if I used up the shampoo or not, but I know that I think I ended up giving the shampoo to my daughter for her to try on her hair, because her hair is like a little bit finer than mine is, so hopefully that'll work. But this, no. And it makes me so sad because these are super expensive. I got these for like $25 off of Boxy, and even at $25, I'm like, that's so sad because it's such a large amount of product, and I love IGK. So that makes me sad in and of itself. These just didn't do much for my hair. I want to preface this by saying IGK products in general, I really like. There are a few that haven't worked for me. And I do have another set of leaders that are not the Bad and Bougie, but they're a different thing from IGK. And those I have not tried yet. So I don't know if it's just the shampoo and conditioner from IGK that doesn't work or if it's these specifically. So today I'm talking about this specifically. But they don't do much for my hair. It makes, like, this is the Amla Oil Deep Repair. It makes it a little bit shinier, but they just weighed my hair down so much, and I could tell on the days that I was using these that my hair would just be flat. There was no volume, no hair products really seemed to add volume, and they just, like a brick. And these really did, like, they weighed my hair down so much, it's not even worth it for me to finish the rest of the bottles. Like this one, again, I'm probably gonna give this to my daughter to see if it works for her hair, because it did not for mine. But I won't be repurchasing the Bad and Bougie. Okay, you guys, I have recently been kind of purging all of my Margot Elena and Cottage Greenhouse products because they're just too over scented. They're over perfumed and it's too much. I love fragrance in my products. I love smelling good, but the scents in these were just way too overpowering and too much. But I had the Cottage Greenhouse Japanese Plum and White Tea Moisture Rich Dry Body Oil, and I figured I'd give it a shot. You can see how long that lasted. The scent of this, it's so good, but it's so strong. And I, like, you guys, I love scented products, and I always have candles going in my house, and there's just fragrance everywhere. So for me to say that a scent is too strong, that shit is strong. And this is too strong. Now, and I will say, I've been, you know, I'm trying out a bunch of different body oils because I'm getting into body oils now. So I was willing to overlook the scent part this time. However, this was not moisture rich. It left my skin dry, and it gave me that feeling like, you know how when your skin is so dry, or if you put something that's like super drying on your skin, it feels like stretched and stripped. That is how this made my skin feel. And that's the exact opposite of how it should feel after you put on a body oil. I understand that this is a dry body oil, but that normally doesn't change like the end result. And in this case, it wasn't working well. What I did to counteract that was I used more. And I was able to get some moisture out of it, but I had to use so much, and I just feel like it's not worth the struggle. Like, I'm not a big fan of how strong the scent is, and there's so many body oils out there, including dry body oils, if that's your jam, that are so much better. If you're looking for one right now, my recommendation would be the Moroccan Body Dry Oil. I just finished off like a sample of that for Shop My Samples, and I loved it so much. I bought the full size. That one was amazing. I feel like I'm finally done with like just the Cottage Greenhouse and the Margot Elena brand altogether, which sucks because I really do like them, but they're just so over fragranced, and I feel like their products don't give me the results that I've come to grow. I've grown to expect from nicer products, so I'm kind of over it. This is the TBG Gold Face Scrub. First of all, I hate this packaging for a face scrub. It's so obnoxious. Why do I have to twist something off? And like, this is just such a tight seal. Because now I'm thinking about it, face scrubs sometimes do come in this packaging and they don't bother me. This is just, and this is so heavy. I don't like the packaging, okay? This is what it looks like. That makes sense. But did you notice how it fell out in like chunks? Okay. All right, let's talk about this. So first of all, it's very thick. It's incredibly thick. It's very harsh. There's very little moisture in this, and I feel like for a body scrub, and the body scrub from this line was coffee, and I loved the body scrub. This is very thick and it's very harsh, and for a body scrub that may have worked, but this was marketed as a face scrub, so I was using it on my face. Oh my god, and my lord, did that hurt my face. I did not use it for very long because it literally hurt. It hurt to use it. It was the most bizarre face scrub I've ever encountered. Very little oil. So it was just dry. It was like rubbing dry rocks on your face. And that sounds dramatic, but that's really what it was like. It was not good. I don't know what the scent of this is. It is atrocious, okay? It smells like they were going for lemons, but they didn't quite get there. No, it's not good. It's not good at all. This is a no for me. I have tried some of the other products from this brand. I still have a couple more to try. This came in a subscription box with other products from this brand, but this was so bad. No, thank you. Okay, the Tula Skincare Glow Hour oh my god, now I've got that scrub everywhere. This is the Glow Hour Brightening and Neutralizing Eye Balm. If you guys remember, they have a blue version of an eye balm that's like cooling. Oh, I loved that eye balm so much. I'm pretty sure that was one of my favorites. So I was really excited to try this because I was like, great, it's a different version. How wonderful. No. Do you guys see how little I used of this? And I use this for a while. There's a lot of product in here, which is great. But this, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know if you can see that either. It has like this shading and texture to it. So you get this shading under your eyes, and it's really difficult to blend in. Like, it's a really dry thing, and you can't blend it in fully. So then you have this shading under your eyes. And I'm pretty sure that's the point, right? Is because that makes your eyes look brighter. But it doesn't for me. It doesn't work on my skin tone. It's very obvious, like there's this orangey kind of shading under my eyes. And it sinks into every line, like even on my hand it's doing it, into every line you have. And it looks like dry and patchy. And that does not look good under your eyes at all. So this just made my under eyes like stand out more. And obviously I use my eye gels every day, so I'm going for like a very hydrated under eye look. And this did the exact opposite. It made it look dry. It made my skin look cracked. It like accentuated everything that I was trying to hide. And it's because of that weird like coloring to it, and the fact that it didn't ever fully blend in. And like, again, even on my hand, it's not fully blending in. So this was a no-go. The last thing in here, and I've used this for a while before, but again, I'm starting to kind of pay more attention to how it reacts with things. And so I've tried this with a few different primers, a few different foundations. The issue is the concealer. This is the Cream Shop Cover Story Full Coverage Concealer. I have this in the shade Fair. It is full coverage, like it's really nice. However, I noticed as I was blending it in, it like breaks up. It almost like pills up. And I would put this, you know, I would use it as regular concealer, and then I would use it around my eyebrows. And around my eyebrows would just look so dry and so like flaky and pilly, and it just drew attention to that area, and not in a good way. And then like it didn't really seem to matter how much I was using. It had this cakey effect is the best way I can describe it, because it just kind of caked up to wherever it was applied. I will say the issue like around the rest of my face wasn't as bad as around my eyebrows for whatever reason, but I don't normally have that issue with concealers. So I really tried it. Like I've used it before, I've used it this time. I just seem to keep having the same reoccurring issue, so it's time for it to go. I can't do it anymore. No thank you. Alright, those are my favorites and fails for the last few months. Hopefully this video was like educational for you, and hopefully it helped you in some way. Let me know down below what you've been loving and loathing. Maybe that's what I'll call it. Instead of faves and fails, I'll call it loves and loathes. But let me know what you've been loving and loathing in the comments down below. Always looking for product recommendations and products to steer clear of. For whatever reason though, when I hear a bunch of people don't like a product, I'm like, I need to try this product. I bought the Milk Makeup Eye Primer, the Hydro Grip Eye Primer. A universally hated product. I have not tried it yet, but it is like universally hated. And I was like, well, I have to see why everybody hates it, because I have a problem. So thank you so much for joining me here today. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that big red subscribe button below me if you'd like to see more of me. I do faves and fails, or loves and lows, whatever I decide to call this, once every quarter now, I'm almost positive. But there's a lot of other fun stuff mixed in between. So thank you guys so much for joining me here today. I will catch y'all next time. Have a great one. Goodbye.